All right, everyone. We are here with our next competitor, Alyssa Bell from TaproomCoffee. Everyone, put your hands together. Alyssa, here's your judges. Go ahead and say hello to them.
Hello. Hi. Hi. Good, how are you?
When you're ready, call time.
Do y'all have everything that y'all need? Good, good. Could I get my music? Okay, time. Judges, I'm gonna ask you to put your spoons away today, because we're gonna talk about my favorite place for great coffee, and that's at home. And no one drinks coffee from a spoon at home. With all the ways to get a cup of coffee, I'm surprised all the time and effort people put into manually brewing. I just wanted to make a recipe today that makes it easy for them to have a great cup. Because when you're my customer and buy a bag from TaproomCoffee, you're my customer every time you brew, and you should have a good cup whether I brew it or not. I started my brew with an AeroPress because it's a brewer that a lot of my customers already have, and it's easy to use. From there, I decided that I would add a fellow Prismo. It's just an end cap with a single valve and a metal filter. I really like it because it means you don't have to do inverted method to avoid water from leaving your brew. I knew I wasn't brave enough to do inverted method in front of y'all today, but I don't think anyone's that brave at 7 in the morning. Doing an immersion method, I knew that I might have challenges getting the flavor clarity that someone might get from a pour over. So I added a paper filter to help with that flavor. From there, I decided I would experiment with sifting. I really liked the nuanced flavor I could get from sifting out the fines to avoid over extraction, but I really hated throwing out 2 grams of coffee every time I brewed. Our roasters, importers, and farmers take so much effort in growing this coffee before a customer even gets it, and our customers buy it to treat themselves. No one wants to throw treat yourself coffee away. So I challenged myself to find a way to use these fines. I thought, what are fines anyway? They're just smaller particle-sized grounds that every grinder, no matter how expensive, is going to produce. But what do we know about fines? They extract faster and don't need as much time to brew. So I decided that I was gonna add these fines later in the brew, giving them less time. When I did that, I found that I not only got a coffee with good flavor clarity, but with a body and sweetness that improved as it cooled, making for a balanced cup from hot to warm to cool, which is really important to my customers at home. They're sitting at a table with people that they love, or they're getting ready for work. There can be a lot of time between the finish of a brew and that last sip that they take. So it needs to be good no matter what temperature it is. My recipe for you today starts with 18 grams of coffee that I have then sifted using a cocoa powder shaker. I just wanted to use something that someone would already have at home or be able to get for $5. It means more money for them to spend on their bag of coffee every day. I'm gonna sift out 2 grams of fines and put them to the side. We're gonna start the brew with 220 grams of hot water at 204. We're gonna stir 3 times and then let it sit for 1 minute and 45 seconds. And then we're gonna add those fines back in, stirring 3 more times. What I really like most about this brew method is you don't even have to worry about the flow rate. Just the number of stirs is what's gonna affect the flavor the most. I'm gonna begin to press at 2 minutes and 15 seconds for a total of 15 seconds for a total brew time of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm gonna have to use my mama bear strength a little bit, so please excuse the way this looks. The coffee that you're gonna have today is a washed Colombian. It is grown in the Antioquia department near Ural. The unique microclimate, along with the high elevation of this region, has created the conditions for a unique mutation of the Caturra variety. This coffee truly has one home. It's marked by complex notes and stone fruit. The farmer of this coffee, Luis Eduardo Vargas Ballesteros, has so much faith in the exceptionality of this coffee that's the only variety he grows on his small 1.5 hectare farm. The care that him, along with his daughter and 3 grandchildren, take in growing, harvesting, and processing this coffee is evident in the dynamic experience you'll have in the cup. And speaking of the experience of the cup, I'm going to explain this the way that your mouth is going to feel and experience, but I've written the tasting notes and body and flavor in the order that you're going to evaluate them. I just kind of wanted to explain it the way I'd explain it to a customer and really highlight the great notes of it and kind of give them an idea of what they're going to experience on their palate. The aroma of this coffee, when hot, is going to be brown sugar, fresh black tea, similar to when you first open a bag of tea. It's also going to have prominent notes of dark chocolate in the aroma. My favorite part of this coffee is the way the acidity and body play with each other as it cools. So I'm going to start with the acidity. When hot, it is similar to Meyer lemon. It's citric at all temperatures, but it increases in intensity, finishing to a fresh lemon acidity. The body is going to be silky throughout, starting tea-like. And then as it cools, it's going to get thicker and thicker, similar to simple syrup once it's at the cool temperature. The flavor of this coffee is predominantly caramel and black tea, similar to the Lipton like we've all had in the South. It's Meyer lemon, and then with warm, we're gonna have more of those caramel notes. More Lipton black tea, but we're gonna have some stone fruit joining in the party. It's gonna be yellow plum, a slight tropical kiwi note, and some faint blood orange. When cool, it is going to be butter caramel sauce, cane sugar, and it's going to become like sweet tea, getting more sugary and more brisk as it cools, like a classic Southern sweet tea. The aftertaste, when hot, is yellow plum, caramel, and black tea. When warm, we're gonna have more of those plum and caramel aftertaste. And when cool, we're just gonna be left with the sensation of a classic black tea. Judges, thank you for spending your time with me today and letting me tell you what I think is important in coffee. Not everyone's gonna have access to high retail space, but I think most people will know what it's like to drink coffee in their kitchen. People like our farmers in Colombia, our importers in Seattle, or even our roasters in Atlanta. We all have that shared experience And that's something that I think is really exciting about coffee. We can all live on the counter of every customer in their kitchen. I want to say thank you again. Time.
All right, everyone, put your hands together for Alyssa Bell from Taproom Coffee. Alyssa, come on over here. Stand on that little X again.
Okay.
Congratulations, excellent job.
Thank you.
That was great. This
Thanks.
is like your 10th year competing, right?
It's my first year competing.
First year. That was amazing. That was so great. So I know that you are part of a group of people here competing,
Yeah.
a special group of people called Glitter Cats.
I see a couple of them right now. Woo-hoo!
For some of our audience members who don't know what Glitter Cats are, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Glitter Cat is just about increasing the opportunities for marginalized communities in coffee. People like women, LGBT, different races and ethnicities. I was really glad to join it, but also kind of scared because I thought that it was just a group for the cool kids, but then I found out we're all weirdos too, so.
Yeah, shout out to the weirdos.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, your presentation was amazing. You went with a full immersion coffee dripper.
Yes.
Right? It's a little bit different, but I know we've talked a little bit in the past. You really like the AeroPress.
I
right?
really do, and it makes life so much easier. I mean, not even just for competition, but when I talk to customers at home, they're always like, yeah, I have a Kalita at home, but really I use my AeroPress every day.
Right.
So I really wanted to show like the way that my customers make it and not just the way we make coffee.
Absolutely. People will always want to default to, I think, what's easier in the morning, right?
Yes, you can make coffee so fast. That's what I like about it.
That's the way to do it. So you went with the AeroPress, and there's a little bit different of attachment on the bottom of that
Yes.
that I noticed. Tell us a little bit about that too.
So that's a Fellow Prismo. I think Fellow originally intended it to be a way to make espresso at home without having an espresso machine. It's supposed to add pressure. But I just really liked the coffee I got from it, just doing more of a drip kind of coffee.
Okay.
It just is sweet with a full body no matter what you do, and it's really good at getting good flavors, and it's really forgiving, which I think most people at home need in a home coffee brewer. They need some,
100%.
because they're buying a $20 bag of coffee. You want it to be good the first time. Like, it can always be better, but it needs to be good first because you don't want them to like just throw out a cup of coffee.
That's right. I echo that sentiment 100 times. That's so great.
Yeah.
So you work for a company called Taproom Coffee, right? Tell us
Yes.
a little bit about Taproom.
So Taproom is a shop in a small neighborhood. We sell lots of retail coffee. Our main feature home roaster is East Pole, and they're
Okay.
here today.
Oh, nice.
They also roasted my coffee. They're really great. So the great thing about Atlanta is like we kind of have a small community, but we rely on each other a lot and work with each other a lot and share a lot of resources. So I think of Taproom, we're not like maybe the fanciest coffee shop, but I think we're the coffee shop that people feel at home. So that's why I wanted to continue that feel.
That is excellent. I love that idea for a coffee shop in that type of community and vibe. That's so great. Well, I know you have a lot of people you want to say thank you to, so
Yes.
I'm going to let you do that.
Okay. I don't even know who to thank first, so this is not by importance whatsoever. I want to thank Chelsea and Atlas Coffee for sponsoring my coffee. This is truly a beautiful coffee. When I was cupping it, I was just so excited about it, and I was so glad that they sponsored my coffee. East Pole also roasted, and we had trouble shipping, and they went and picked it up from a terminal. So they're definitely the
Whoa.
people you want on your team when
Shout
things
out
are
East
going.
Pole.
Yeah. And then of course my boss at Taproom, he was really great because he kind of just let me do whatever I wanted without making me feel like I needed to do what he wanted, and he just trusted me. So I have to thank him too. He couldn't be here because he has 4 kids and a family, but I know
Shout
he's
out to
here.
good managers.
Yeah, he's great. Jonathan Pasqua is a great person.
Cool.
And then my sister's here today helping me, so she's been my emotional coach the whole time. So I have to thank her. And then, of course, Glitter Cat, because honestly, I'd been so lost if they wouldn't have given me all the advice beforehand. And then all the Glitter Cats have just been so supportive. Like, I can't promote them enough. If anyone's thinking about competing next year, if you're one of those groups, you should definitely be a Glitter Cat.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, everyone, again, put your hands together for Alyssa Bell from Taproom Coffee. Alyssa, excellent job today. Knocked it out of the park. We are going to be back here with our next competitor here very shortly. Before we leave.